So, when student behavior escalates, it's easy to focus on what the student is doing. But sometimes, without realizing it, teachers respond in ways that make the situation worse. This does not mean the teachers cause the behavior. It means there are certain patterns that can increase tension once a student is already frustrated, embarrassed, or overwhelmed. But before we get into those patterns, if you are new here, welcome. This channel is for K 12 educators who want practical strategies and research that actually translate to the classroom. Be sure to subscribe so you do not miss future videos. And if this video is helpful to you, tap the like button. It helps more teachers and school leaders find this content. Now, let's look at 3 common things teachers do that can unintentionally escalate student behavior. The first is correcting a student publicly. Imagine you are giving directions and a student keeps talking. From across the room, you say, "Jordan, stop talking. I've already asked you twice." Now, the correction may be completely justified. The student is not meeting the expectations and the behavior needs to be addressed. The problem is not that you corrected the student. The problem is that the correction happened in front of the audience. The moment the student's name is called out, the room's attention may shift towards them. Now the student is not only responding to you, they are also thinking about how they look in front of their classmates. They may feel embarrassed, exposed, or challenged. Even a student who knows they were in the wrong may begin defending themselves by saying, "I wasn't even talking. Everyone else was doing it," or "Why are you always picking on me?" At that point, the situation is no longer just about following direction. It has become about pride, control, and saving face in front of peers. This is often where a small behavior turns into arguing, refusal, or power struggle. Whenever possible, correct the behavior without creating an audience. You may move closer to the student, make brief eye contact, point in the direction, or quietly say, "I need you to listen right now." You are still addressing the behavior. You are still holding the student accountable, but you're doing it in a way that protects the student's dignity and gives them a chance to correct the behavior without having to perform for the rest of the class. Private correction does not mean lowering the expectation. It means removing the audience so the student can focus on the direction instead of defending themselves. Now, the second is asking too many questions during the escalation. Teachers often ask questions because they genuinely want to understand what happened. You may be trying to determine what caused the behavior, help the student reflect, or give them a chance to explain themselves. The problem is not that those questions should never be asked. The problem is the timing. When a student is already frustrated, angry, embarrassed, or overwhelmed, questions such as, "Why are you acting like this? What is your problem today?" Or "Why can't you just follow directions?" can feel less like an invitation to talk and more like an interrogation. The student may not yet be able to explain what happened calmly or logically. The brain is focused on the immediate emotion or perceived threat, not on reflecting, organizing their thoughts, and giving you a thoughtful answer. Even a simple question can add more pressure. The student may respond with, "I don't know," become defensive, shut down, or say something disrespectful. The teacher may then ask another question, and the student may feel increasingly cornered. This is how an attempt to understand the behavior can unintentionally cause or keep the escalation going. In that moment, use fewer words and focus on one clear, manageable next step. You may say, "Let's take a minute. We'll talk when you are ready." Then ask them, "Move to a quiet area and I will check on you shortly." Or, "Right now, I need you to pause and just take a breath." This is not avoiding the conversation or allowing the student to escape accountability. It is postponing the conversation until the student is calm enough to participate productively. Once the student has regained control, you can ask what happened. Listen to their perspective, clarify the expectation, and discuss what they can do differently next time. The questions still matter. They are simply more effective after the intensity has come down. During escalation, the goal is regulation first, then reflection. All right, the third one. The third is matching the student's intensity. When a student becomes louder, more disrespectful, or more defiant, it is natural for a teacher to feel the need to become louder and more forceful. You may feel you need to show the students and the rest of the class that you are in control. You may also feel frustrated, challenged, or caught off guard, especially when the behavior happens in front of the students. The problem is that when the teacher's emotional intensity rises along with the students, the situation can quickly shift from correcting a behavior to a contest over who is going to back down first. The student raises their voice, so the teacher raises theirs. The student argues, so the teacher gives a longer, firmer response. The student refuses, and the teacher adds another consequence in the heat of the moment. Before long, neither person is focused on solving the original problem. Both are reacting to the other person's tone, words, and level of intensity. This can also affect the rest of the class. Students begin watching the confrontation instead of focusing on the lesson. Some may become uncomfortable, while others may encourage the behavior through their attention or reactions. A calm response interrupts that pattern. Lowering your voice, slowing down your pace, and using a brief, clear direction communicate. I am still control of myself, and I'm not going to turn this into a fight. You might say, I can see that you are upset. We will talk when you are ready. Or, I'm not going to argue with you right now, but I need you to take your seat. Let's talk about it later. Then stop talking long enough to give the student time to respond. This does not mean ignoring the disrespect, allowing the student to avoid consequence, or pretending the behavior is acceptable. The expectation still matters, and accountability can still happen. The difference is that you are not trying to address every part of the situation while emotions are high. Staying calm does not mean being passive. It means being strategic enough to manage your own responses before trying to manage the student's behavior. The goal is not to win the argument in front of the class. The goal is to keep the behavior from becoming bigger than it needs to be, and restore a sense of safety and control, and address the situation more productively once the intensity has calmed down. This is just one piece of what I cover in the Strategic Classroom Workshop series. Check out the link in the description to learn more. And if this kind of content helps you feel more confident and effective in the classroom, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. We share practical strategies, research, and tools designed specifically for K-12 educators. And if you want to go deeper, this is just one piece of what we cover in the Strategic Classroom. You can learn more through the link in the description. I'll see you on the next one.